Okay, this is important, but I'm trying to keep it short. Today, China's National People's Congress Standing Committee has announced that it will review the third draft of the Personal Information Protection Law during its forthcoming meeting session on 18 August next week. According to the press conference today held by the Standing Committee, the latest draft has added a few important items. First, the law added terms regulating the so-called abusive collection of the personal data via smartphone applications, which means the algorithms used to promote products on the basis of big data analysis will be regulated. I personally very concerned this sort of regulation, as the law would hardly well define the subject matter to be regulated. Second, the law will further enhance its provisions over the cross-border data transfer. According to the conference, the law will state the personal data will only be transmitted to countries where the level of the protection of the personal data is equivalent to that of the Chinese law. This looks reasonable, but in practice, because China has a unique logic in protecting the privacy law, laws in other countries might not that easy to be admitted to equivalent to the Chinese law. I would strongly suggest companies who have investment into China to invest more resources on this issue, including hiring lawyers to start reviewing their home country laws and compare with the Chinese law. Third, data portability is added into the draft law. This is good news for those companies who have already invested to comply with the GDPR. But we will need to monitor the difference between the Chinese version of the portability right and that of the GDPR. Fourth, the law will add specific provisions regulating the automatic decision-making. This includes so-called prior informed consent, transparency, and the privacy impact assessment. I hope there will be a definition of the so-called automatic decision-making in the draft law, but this is absent in earlier version of the draft. Fifth, personal information of children who are younger than 14 years will be deemed as sensitive personal information and will be subject to higher protection requirements. Also, protection of personal information of the deceased people will be addressed. Okay, in China, a draft bill of legislation will be reviewed by the Standing Committee of the National Congress 2 to 3 rounds before it is finalized and voted to promulgate. Therefore, it is very likely that the law will be passed next week or very soon, unless there are very special reasons preventing its promulgation. China usually leaves short period of time to effect a new law. So don't expect that you will have 2 years' time like GDPR for you to adjust to your business. A quality review of a business model or a product would need time. Therefore, companies who have presence in China or who are collecting personal information from China should gear up now and call lawyers to discuss compliance strategy immediately. A good news is that in China, the officially published draft laws usually won't be amended significantly. Therefore, there's no harm to start your review now, even based on the published draft version of the law.